show with Irish show with Irish show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense. Without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The calling line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks. It's good to be back. It was good to be at Notre Dame, but it's good to be back with you as well. I miss it. I don't like getting out of my routine. Welcome in, welcome back, everybody, to a finally, football is back. And I realize it's just the beginning stages of practice. I don't care. I'm just glad football's back. America needed football back. NFL camps are opening. College camps are opening. We could turn the calendar into football mode. Everybody needs it for our mental well-being. Like, I am just thrilled football's back. I want to know what you guys think so far of what you've heard, read, seen being reported, all of that. I just want to know what you guys think so far. And I realize it's early and there's a lot of overreactions and everything's great for everybody. I realize all that. Back off. All right? I do one little video saying, oh, the reports are pretty positive from campus so far. You know, people are happy with the way our guys showed up. And then I get a bunch of messages. Oh, what do you mean positive? You know, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, give me a break, people. Like, it's day one and day two so far. Like, all you're going to get is reports of what the bodies look like and who's running around, making sure we're mostly healthy. Give me a break. So, I mean, take what you can get this time of year. We'll get into it. All right. Here's the other deal. And I'm going to make this, I should probably make this announcement now. Kind of from now on, we're going to have to start tightening up the phone calls, okay? A regular Monday morning in May where there's nothing going on, not a lot of people call. I could give you 15 minutes to go through your demonstration, you know, your thesis, whatever it is. We're going to have to start reining it in so I could get to more people. Now that the season's brewing, we already have more calls lined up to talk today than we did before camp. I enjoy everybody's perspective. Respectfully, so we could get more people through, I got to move people along. So we're going to have to start tightening it up with your main bullet points so we could get through more people. I just think that's the fair thing to do as this grows into this season. And I already see it doing that today. Okay. And so that's in the mix. And so there's a few things we need to go over, and I'll do my thing quick and we'll get to the calls. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Obviously, you can find the program in YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate that as well. Notifications on. That way you alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter. Search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can locate me to call-in lines. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen, and we got a bunch of people to do that this morning. We'll get right to you. Fighting Irish Wire. Every day you tune in and you read about Notre Dame football. You read about camp. You read about all of it, okay? Be there or be a square is the reality. So, first things first. It was great to be back with you. I had a great time at Notre Dame the last couple days. Got a lot accomplished in regards to football and other things I'm trying to accomplish on campus. Had some really good meetings and discussions, and I'm trying to get I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to steer this to where I could still be kind of the outsider, but an insider at the same time. Like not linked to like what I consider in-house legacy Notre Dame media and all that. And then you're bound by what those guardrails. And I'm trying to do it from the outside, but do it enough that I could get on the inside. And so I'm trying to weave that where I need to. And it's not the easiest thing to get done, but that's kind of my mission. And so I had pretty good access over the last couple of days to get into some things that I didn't know if I could, but not full. And that's where I'm working towards. Okay. And so I'm grinding towards that. But when you're running it on your own and you're doing that, there are some hurdles. So I'm trying to make my way and weave through some of that. Okay. Really good meetings. Got to see some Always Irish Nation folks. Brandon and Phil, I don't know if you're here today. I had a great dinner with you and Jack. When was that? Wednesday night, I guess. Great dinner with you guys. Have a couple pitchers of beer. Talk about Notre Dame football in South Bend. There's nothing else Johnny would like to do than what we did. We ate a pizza and we had a couple pitchers of beer. Talked about Notre Dame of the past and the present and the future. There's nothing else I would like to do. Like, that's perfect for me. Okay. All right. Here's one thing right up front. It was great being at Notre Dame for all this. But that also means that since I was busy with meetings these days, like at this time going here and having a coffee meeting with this person and then doing all that, like I was on the run a lot. And I wasn't in my normal media routine of consuming what other people were saying. People that have 40 years of experience of looking at bodies when they come to camp. I value those opinions out of experience. You know, guys that have been seeing 40 Notre Dame opening camps. I want to know what they think. Okay. I find some value in that. Not ultimate value. Some of you people need to chill the hell out. I hate to be this way. Yes, exactly, Dr. John. That's exactly where we went. We went to Rocco's, and it was beautiful, man. Got myself a personal pizza and a couple pitchers of Miller Lite. There's nothing else I want to do. And then we were the last people in there, and I think they're waiting for us to leave because all we did is keep talking about football. It was lovely. Some of you people need to chill the hell out. It's like all summer. Oh, well, we can't wait for camp. We can't wait to camp. Camp comes, people are a little bit excited about what they see and everybody wants to poo-poo it. If you can't be excited now, when can you? In a few weeks, people are going to start taking losses and it's all over, all right? If you can't be a little bit positive and have some hope in your heart now, what are you doing here at all? I mean, I'm serious. I realize it's all overblown and that every media group of every team is writing a report. Oh, yeah, things look good. We could be good this year. And for most of those teams, they're not going to be any good. We all know that's the reality. But geez, can you give people a few weeks to just like have non-misery before half the teams are going to be miserable? It's taken. Everybody understands that a lot of these people that follow these teams are going to have positive reports because they want you to click tomorrow on their story. No media group following a team is going to go to their camp report day one and come back and write on their laptop or do a podcast and go, we were there day one. You guys just forget it. Like, we're dead. I know we don't have the talent. We're dead. Don't even bother coming to the games. No one's going to do that. You all have to understand that. Even people that follow teams that know they're going to be bad, they're not going to say that after day 1 or 2. Okay? It's okay to have a little positivity now. Reality checks in 3 weeks. And the reality is then losers are going to lose and winners are going to win. But there's nothing wrong right now with having a little hope and positivity. I mean, lighten up just a little bit. Damn. All right, I got that out. So what I was saying is, me being on the move so much, I have not consumed as much media as I usually do about these camp reports. And I would love to hear what you guys think of all that you've seen and read. Okay, that's what I want to do when I take these calls in a minute is gauge where you're at on that. But I would like to know who's standing out to you, what position groups are standing out to you, what's worrying you of what you've seen and heard, other than the people that are worrying about everything. Yeah, I know. Brian Van Gorder's burner says John's telling people to be positive. What the hell is happening? If you can't allow for a couple weeks of positivity before reality kicks in for everybody, not just us. I mean, geez, man. I'm sorry, but I do my 2-minute report in front of Frank Leahy. And then I get a bunch of messages going, what do you mean positive? We got it. We're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. Like, bro, now it's the only time you're allowed to be positive. Nobody has any losses. Man, come on. Give me a break. So I felt like the coverage was pretty positive overall. And I'm going to tell you one of the number one things I liked the most. Also, I want to know what the deal is with Balis. I was on campus, and even in meetings with people that are high up in Notre Dame, I wasn't able to get any information. I mean, I wasn't being a jerk trying to get it, trying to play nice, meeting these people and everything. Nobody I talked to had any information, or if they did, they weren't giving it to old Johnny boy. And so I would like to know what you've learned that's happened there. But I'm going to give you one of the things that I think was most encouraging after day one, and then we'll get to the callers. I'll do a roll call of a couple super chats and a couple comments. Then I'm going to give the callers the time, I promise. Here's what I was going to say. One of the positives is right after the first camp, a lot of the media that was in there looking at these bodies and everything, one of their big reports was there was a lot of younger guys or backup guys that were in a lot better shape and looked more ready to play than what a lot of people were expecting. And that goes not only for freshmen that we're seeing for the first time, but some backup guys at other positions as well. And I think that's a big deal. That's a good sign to have people go, man, some of these bodies look like they're a lot more ready to be able to play if they needed to than what we thought. And I think that's really good news. And I think, and the one that I take personally is Brennan Vernon, just because I know that I've gotten to know the family and the parents. And I know behind the scenes, the work that family and that kid's been putting in all winter and all spring and everything he was doing to get ready for this moment. And the dad's been saying, John, this guy's on a mission. He's reshaping his body. He's getting sculpted. He's eating right. He's ready to go. And I heard a lot of people compliment the way he came into camp and the way he looked and all that. And that's beautiful. And so I love that for them, and I'm excited for them. And here's the other one too. I'm bringing this up right now. Almost every single person in the media has been saying Jeremiah Love's speed has stood out big time. People were just writing Love. Wow. Like, look at that speed. Here's what I'm going to say. If it's that noticeable that Love is that much faster than everybody else you have running around out there, you got to find roles for him to contribute. I don't care that he's young. I don't care any of that. Speed is a skill that you cannot learn or teach. So don't give me this. He doesn't know all the blocking. You can't put him out there. You don't need to. You put him out there to do stuff with the ball early on. But a guy that fast, I think you just have to find him a role. If it's undeniable that he's that fast, it could be that big of a weapon. You got to find a way to use the guy. You can't just say he's young. He's our fastest guy, but he's young, so he can't do nothing. No. I think you have an obligation to find guys that can wreck a defense and stress them out and put them on the field. So if he is that fast and he's that guy, you got to find a spot for him. And maybe you ease him in on kickoffs or doing something like to get him going. I don't know, but you can't teach or learn speed. So if that's what he's bringing, find a role. But I'm not, it bugs me. Oh, John, you don't understand football. They're not going to play a running back that young because he doesn't know all the blocking assignments, and you got to be a well-rounded and perfect at everything. That's not how I see it. I'm not asking for him to be the lead back on everything, and he has to know all the responsibilities and all the blocking assignments. You would be a bad coach if you drop him in and then make him worry about all that. Find ways to get him the ball to burn the other team. It ain't rocket science. Speaking of rocket, give me that speed, baby. Give me that Tony Roberts. The afterburners are on. He's gone. Make love. Jet sweeps. Throw him a little dump off in a tunnel screen. I don't know. Come up with a way to get your fastest guy the ball. It isn't brain surgery, which I might need after this season. Okay? It isn't that. Find a way to get that guy the ball. The next thing is, Balis, I don't know what's the story. Somebody tell me the real story. Tell me the real story. I don't know it. Somebody tell me. Oh, nobody knew anything. And then Marcus found out on Sunday and tried to get him to do whatever, and it didn't. And then I hear other reports that they knew this was coming. What the hell's the reality? I just want to know the truth so I know what I'm working with. And so it's interesting that I said one of the biggest things I liked, one of the interesting things I liked was seeing people say these bodies look like they're in really good shape, ready to go. Well, who do you think's a part of that? I mean, maybe not with freshmen that just arrived, but a lot of that is Balis. So it's interesting. One of the things I noted out of the media reports is connected to the guy we just lost. I'm going to tell you this too. I know I'm not that worked up, but I guess I'm just excited to be back with you guys. And I have this new energy after being on campus. I like being on campus when it's not a game week because it's a different experience for me. If I'm going there and there's a game, I have all that anxiety and football stuff brewing in me. That's not a time for me to like soak in Notre Dame and my soul and all that because the football energy kind of trumps that. So this was good because it was like there was football going on, but it's not like this huge circus, you know? So it was nice to be able to do that. But I'm going to bring this up. Some of you will remember it, and then we'll get to the calls. I'm almost done. I know. Here's what I'm going to bring up. Early and mid in the Kelly era, do you remember Notre Dame struggling in November? Okay, there was those years where Notre Dame would kind of be strong earlier in the year, and then they'd taper off. And then when November came, we were a disaster, and we were getting worn down late in games, and we were getting pushed around, okay? Some of those offensive linemen, for example, in those years, lost 25 to 30 pounds by the time the season went on and they got to November. I am telling you, some of our linemen dropped 25 to 30 pounds from September to November. No wonder they were getting pushed around. That's bad strength and development and bad nutrition program and all of that. That is a reason we were getting bullied around. So anybody who thinks, oh, strength and conditioning, dime a dozen, anybody's the same, you could bring him in there. Well, Kelly didn't for a while. And that's why we were getting pushed around. The training table, all that, we were so far behind. It's a big deal. I was shocked to learn from people I trust that told me those guys were 25 pounds lighter. No wonder they were getting pushed around in November. They couldn't maintain weight. You can't have that. That's how important this is. So Balis has a system in place. The other guy was already there. You got to just try and maintain that system that was working. Then when you get to the end of the year, if you want to reevaluate, do we want to hire an outside guy or keep this guy promoted, whatever, make that decision. But you need to make sure that you could hold your own this year, all right, and get through it. And then I am going to say this. Listen, I understand that the preseason stuff is all hype. I already kind of got mad about it. Take it all with a grain of salt. Even the media that's covering teams we all know is bad and they know it's bad. They're finding positive things to talk about this time of the year. And the reason why is very simple. You can only do it now. Once reality hits, you can only deal with that reality. And if your team is bad, your team is bad. People are going to be mad and check out or do whatever they're going to do. Understand all of this is like, this is what you get. Like, I don't expect the media to tell the truth. And this isn't just about Notre Dame. This is about everybody. I don't always expect the media to tell the truth after day 1 and 2 because they want to keep you coming back to read their stories and go to their podcast. If you say day 1 the team sucks and we don't have what we need, don't even bother, then you're in a bad spot. Okay. Nobody's going to do that. So just understand some of that's in play. And we all acknowledge that's a part of the game. Things like the physical stuff, though, guys coming in looking more ready to play than we thought. That's a beautiful thing. All right. A couple super chats. Then we're going to go to the calls. We got a bunch of people that want to talk and we'll see what they think. So let's see what we got. $5 holler from Paul. Thank you very much. Good morning, John the Great. I don't know about that, but I'll take it. I am encouraged about your report you did yesterday in front of Frank. Thank you. I'm just happy to be in front of Frank. That's all. Made me feel Frank's power there. A real winner. A real winner. Pat says, hey, John and AI fam. Love seeing the in-person reporting from Ground Zero. Hoping your conversations were fruitful. Here's to seeds and trees planted for you to harvest an abundance of fruit later. That was very well spoken and very fancy language. I'll take it. Things are a process. I have a plan. I know it seems like I just yell and did whatever and all that. I have kind of a plan on what I'm trying to accomplish and how I'm trying to get it done. I appreciate you guys being here for it. $5 holler from Andrew Gilmore. Happy's older brother. Does USA Today give you a press pass? It'd be great to hear you in the media scrum. It's a huge year for Freeman. When you get Hartman, no excuses. I am working towards all of those kinds of things, and there's a process there and credibility that has to be earned, trust that has to be earned from the Notre Dame side and the USA Today side that you will represent them well. This is all a part of my plan to work towards that full access. The first day of the media and all that, when Freeman was talking, like I was in the stadium, I was in the tunnel, I had pretty good access, but I wasn't in that room. And so that's where I need to get to be able to give you guys the full scope. So the access is improving, but it's not 100%. And I'm not going to stop until it is. And so that's kind of my plan with it. Bud Elliott from 247 asked a good question. ND hired Freeman under the premise that they wanted to keep the coaches together. Balis was the last Kelly coach. Should ND have waited 2 months in 2021? I don't know. And that was a big thing we were all saying is, we feel more comfortable with the unknowns of Freeman. You have a lot of Notre Dame people still there that know whatever. Maybe that matters less in year 2. Maybe that was more important for year 1, but now on year 2, Marcus could do his own thing. I don't know. And so we'll see. Maybe that was more of a year 1 comfort thing, and you don't need it as much year 2 based off what he learned. Or maybe we were all naive to the modern realities about how often these coaches change around and move. I don't know. Yeah, and he says waited till 21 and I don't know. And it's just tricky. And I hired Fickle. You could have done that. It was a safer route. I don't know. I think Fickle is a safer route, but Freeman has a higher upside, if that makes sense. Because Fickle has a more of a body of work. I think that might be more stable, but maybe if Freeman gets it rolling, I feel like there might be an extra gear. Is that fair to say maybe? Mikey Poles, my main security guard. Good morning, John. I really like Balis. He was an ND guy to the core, was good at his job, but he's the strength coach. They're dime a dozen. This is not the end of the world. As long as you figure it out right, I agree with you. Kelly didn't figure it out right, and our linemen lost 25 to 30 pounds of muscle weight by the time November came. So we have a recent history here of it not being that easy to get right. So I just need them to figure it out. I'm not going to freak out over it, but you got to kind of make sure you maintain whatever you had going. Okay? Andrew, I do wonder what happened with Balis. I think Freeman, public media persona is a lot different than private. I'm not knocking him, but the media portrays him as a super nice guy. Yeah, and I need him to be a nice guy and a mean guy. I need him to be both. I need Notre Dame's coach to be able to thread that needle and be a classy orator that says the right things in public and lights up the team and the coaching staff behind closed doors. I'm fine with that. I don't need Mr. Nice Guy out there. I need this guy to have an edge. I need him to have an edge. Every Notre Dame team that's won anything had an edge, and I need these guys to have that. John, you put out a video. We got a bunch of calls. I'm coming to you. I'm almost done, I promise. You put out a video asking what should be a guarantee. To me, it's a 1,500-yard rusher, likely estimate if healthy. The average teams on our schedule cannot stack the box against Hartman. Yeah, and if you do, you're going to get burned. Like, that's if you want to know what's different about this team than last year, that should have me encouraged or whatever. How about the idea you might have an actual offense that could stretch the field and make defenses worry about the run and the pass on every down? We have not had that, and we don't even realize we've been living in that world so long, how easy Notre Dame is to defend if you have even half-ass decent talent. Oh, stack the box on early down, stop the run, and then guard the tight end on third down with two dudes, and then you get off field, get a punt. Lame. That has been Notre Dame's existence, and it's lame. Needs to change, damn it. And I think it will. I think it will. Sharky, good to see you. Ooh, oh my gosh. Look at this from Sharky. You heard it here first. I predict ND flips Justin Scott before he plays in Ohio. Wow. You know what might help that? Beat the hell out of Ohio State at your place would go a long way to doing that, wouldn't it? That certainly would be nice. With an edgier team, you'll probably have more penalties. I'll take it if we create more turnovers. The biggest indicators of winning are creating turnovers and chunk plays. I need a little bit more edge. I actually have a couple things coming out this week about I need Notre Dame to be a little more mean. We have a lot of nice guys. Even our mean guys are nice guys. I need some guys that play on the edge of like, is it too much on the defensive side especially? I need a little of that. You need to let the other team know you have a little of that. Okay? Drunk. It's good to see you, Drunk. Sounds like they weren't even trying to get him before. I don't know about that. Nick Dean. Rip Johnny Lujak, one of the greats. Yeah, certainly. Somebody won something in Notre Dame. It's amazing what that looks like, isn't it? Oh, man. Mark wants him to play those linebackers. You got to kind of find roles for these guys. Mix it up a little bit. The main starters are going to be what they are, whether you like it or not. Jason Smith, it takes a certain mentality to go up against Georgia or OSU and win. I always feel like BK teams went down after they got punched in the mouth. I just felt like those teams a lot of times had no balls in those biggest games. And we had this discussion at Rocco's the other night. It felt like in the biggest games, Kelly set the biggest game plans up to not lose by a lot, not to win the game. Are you following me? Some of those biggest game environments, whether it be the playoff or whatever, whatever it is, like Ohio State in the earlier bowl game and then the playoff games, and I'll go back through Kelly and all this. I feel like the game plans were how to not lose by a lot that it's embarrassing, but not how can we be aggressive and do everything we can and pull out every trick in the book to win this game. Take some risky chances. Try a trick play. Try something when you know you have less talent, and if you both play a good game, you're going to lose. Think about what I'm telling you now. If you know you have way less talent than the guys you're going against, if you both play a really good game, they're going to win that because they're better than you. That's where you need to take some chances, be aggressive, try and do some things. Now, if that backfires, you might lose by more than if you play conservative and scared and try and just do whatever. But it doesn't give you a great chance to win. And Kelly did that a lot. Played not to lose by a lot, not to win the damn game. I hate it. It's cowardice. Oh, man. Jason says the defense is supposed to look better the first couple of days. Nothing to be alarmed about. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm not freaking at Dr. John. Good to see you. You're on the move again. Golf this, family that. I love it. The kids' ball games, all of it, John. Call me whenever you get a chance. Oh, man. Here's Crying Belly, the resident positive. Saw some Wake fans that were excited to lose Hartman, and we chose to ignore it. Kind of like how LSU fans didn't understand when we were excited to lose Kelly. I'm going to try and not have an aneurysm. I don't give a crap what the Wake fans were saying. Sam Hartman is better than anything Notre Dame had in the building by a lot. Period. End of discussion. Okay? Now, if you want to turn it into a discussion of why doesn't Notre Dame have more quarterbacks that are ready to play and we don't have to go outside and get one, we can have that discussion, and I'm with you. Guess who's a part of that problem? Your boy Kelly, Swamp Thing, Baton Rouge Brian, okay? So I don't care what the Wake people said. He's a better quarterback than anybody Notre Dame has had or has, okay? So therefore, it's a good move. And the LSU fans couldn't understand why we were excited to lose Kelly. How about he doesn't even try and recruit? How about that? I don't know what there is to not understand about that. And he's told you he didn't like that grind and didn't want to do it. It's not like I'm stretching myself here. Every time the guy talks to the media, he's happy to tell him he didn't want to do that work. How about that as a reason why I was excited to see him leave? He didn't want to do the most important thing that everything else hinges on. Recruit talent to Notre Dame, and he didn't want to do it. How about that? He didn't want to do the work. I better calm down here. I'm going to need an ambulance. My word. Where else? We got a donation. Where is that? $4.99, Adam. That's a $5 holla. The freshman class is looking ready to play is a perfect example of the difference between BK and Freeman recruiting operations. $5 holla from Adam, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to see you in 5 weeks or something at the Central game. Here's the deal with this. This is where you talk about me saying, how does Notre Dame close the gap to the best teams and all that, and how you're trying to do all that. And one of the best ways you could do that is you got to find guys that are capable of getting into that 2 deep, 3 deep early as freshmen because their talent's undeniable and their bodies are ready for it. Even if they don't start, those could be depth guys. Those could be special teams guys. It speeds up the process. Notre Dame gets stuck sometimes where the bulk of their recruiting classes, they don't feel like they could see the field for like 2 years. Too late. You are falling behind the teams we need to catch if you're the most of your recruits in a class have to develop their bodies, and maybe in year 2 and 3 they can push for time. You're falling behind if you're doing that. Straight up, maybe not behind 120 teams, but the 10 that you got to really beat, make moves to get in the playoff and win it, you are. I'll give you maybe 124 teams maybe Notre Dame's ahead of. But the 6 you got to get by, you're not going to do it when most of your recruiting class can't help you till year 2 or 3. No, I'm sorry, man. Even if they're not frontline starters, they need to be good enough. They're pushing the frontline starters to where there's heat. And they're going, if I don't perform, I'm going to lose my spot to this punk kid. Yeah, I like that kind of pressure. We need more of that. It can't be maybe year 3, this guy's body will develop. Bro, you have no chance of catching up with Georgia and Alabama and these teams and all, the way Ohio State recruits doing that. You need more of these guys that could contribute early. Paul Longo resigned for personal reasons too. I don't know. Isn't everything a personal reason? Like, really, let me ask. Isn't everything a personal reason? I want to go spend time with my sick kid is a personal reason. I don't want to work anymore and retire is a personal reason. I'm having a difference of opinion with the head coach on what we want to do here. That's a personal decision. All of these are personal reasons. It's a catch-all for everything. $20 holler from Jacob Brown. Thank you very much. Here's some change for your plan, John. Have a good day. I appreciate that, man. Trying to build more mainstream credibility while being not mainstream is not the easiest thing to do. And I'm trying to thread that needle. And it's a very good problem to have because I'm now at that point where I'm bumping right up against full credentialed access. Like I'm right there. I'm right there, frustratingly close. But that's where I need to get to make this into what I want and to be able to come here to you guys and go, here is the footage I recorded from practice. And I could show it to you and it's my video. Being in the press room and seeing those questions and maybe someday asking one, like, those are all dreams and we got to get there. I'm working at it. Know that, you guys. I'm trying to fight for that, to be able to give you that. It's a big goal of mine. Oh, boy. Ryan, good to see you. MJH Irish. It takes an elite QB. Yeah, it certainly does. Kind of important. You need one. $2 holler from Steven Arado. Appreciate that on the $2 holler. It all goes right back into the phone lines, folks. Maybe some of it went to Rocco's. Who knows? All right, let's get to some calls now. 918, you're on the line. I got an 847-818-443 at the first batch coming up. 918, good morning.
Morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm feeling re-energized after my couple days in South Bend and football starting, and I just have a little pep in my step over that. What do you think?
Well, hey, let me introduce myself to you first. It's a pleasure to talk to you. This is Mike in Oklahoma.
What's going on, Mike? Thanks for giving me a call. Yeah, looks like you called, but it's been a while. Maybe back in June on the tracker here, maybe?
No, I haven't. We haven't talked on the phone on your show, but I'm the one. You and I have been DMing about, places for me to stay and my wife when we come up there, because I'm the one that's going to the Central Michigan game and then the Ohio State game.
Cog Hill? Were we talking about golf? Cog Hill, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, now thank you for pointing that out, making the connection. You're going to love that facility, man. It's a grade A facility. We used to play our conference championship in a high school at Cog Hill, so I'm very familiar with it as a player. And then they used to have the Western Open there, the PGA event. You're going to love that facility. Right. And it's a nice area. You're going to love it, man.
Yeah. It's going to be a great week. We're excited, obviously, with the football games and what potential will happen this year. It'll be her second and third football game that she's gone to. Cal last year was her first game that she's gone to.
That was sleepy. It's going to be a very different environment for her to have to compare from the sleepy Cal game to this one. It's going to be a big difference, buddy.
Yeah, and then on Friday, we're going to the Cubs game. We got tickets last night, so it's just going to be a great week, and hopefully there's 2 W's that come out of it overall. So
that'll be beautiful, man. You're hitting it all. You're getting baseball, you're getting golf, you're getting football, man. That is a well-rounded trip. I respect that. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's, I tell you, if it goes down to this, John, and to the people listening, this is fandom, at its finest. This is what we do. I'm not what would be called a Subway alum. I guess you could call me one, but living in Oklahoma, and I've chatted with you guys about this before. I'm Mike in the chat with the picture of the library in my background, and I've stated before that as have hundreds of other people. It's time for Notre Dame fans to put your fandom where your wallet is, or vice versa. When it comes to games like the Ohio State game and other games, don't let the Buckeyes and their fan base take over that stadium. And I, for certain, saw a little bit of that on the horizon last year. And I told my wife, I said, we're going to that game. We're buying 2 tickets that 2 Ohio State fans won't have an opportunity to. And I think if more people look, it's costing us thousands of dollars to pull this trip off.
Yeah.
But I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm a lifelong Notre Dame fan. And money doesn't enter into the equation for me. If I have an extra $1,000 for a year, I'm sending it to the apparel store. I'm sending it to a donation to your show. I'm sending it to the ticket office to get 2 tickets, whatever it is, a local golf course, whatever.
Yeah,
that's where I am with my love for Notre Dame. When each year comes up, I plan a vacation to go up there. See football. So,
man, that's beautiful. And there's a lot of people like you, and they keep the place going. And you know what else? Some of the discussions I had with these Notre Dame people the last couple of days, many of them very high up, entrenched in Notre Dame, very high up in these departments and things. And I made sure I mentioned to some of them politely, don't forget people that a lot of them love Notre Dame and would do anything just to be to a game and save all year to bring their kid to one game. And the Subway alumni are more important than I feel like they get treated by Notre Dame sometimes, as far as how loyal and important that group of people are to Notre Dame fanhood. And I'm trying to find a way to respectfully let people know you can't leave the regular people behind, and it's a beautiful thing, man. There's a lot of people like that, and it keeps Notre Dame going. It really does.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's talk football, okay?
Yeah. What do you think from the early reports? I don't want to overreact or anything, but just of the first couple days, what are your initial general kind of thoughts?
So I really don't. I don't want to go into my thoughts because I think I can go down a rabbit hole there since it's so early. There's only a couple practices in, but from what I think we've all heard, the safeties and the corner group, they're looking pretty good, as is the running back. We haven't really heard a lot about the defense or the offensive line just yet. I've got three things that I'm looking for going into the season that I have questions about. First off is I want to know who our captain's going to be. Ideally, I think we would all like to see like a Patrick Mahomes or a Ray Lewis. If that comes through one of our defensive guys or even Sam Hartman, who I would love it to be Hartman, I'd love to see him take on a role like Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes do when he gets his team rallied around him. The quarterback ultimately is the leader of the program, and if he can be vocal and then produce on the field like we all hope he is, I think that can invigorate this team.
Now, let me ask you this. Is there any hesitation? I genuinely don't know the answer to this. Is there any hesitation to name a guy a captain who just walked in the door and doesn't have history of making it through Notre Dame and building those relationships and the struggles that come with maturing through Notre Dame as a young guy and bonding with your teammates over years? Is there any of that in play, do you think? Or is it like, this is the quarterback, and by default, he is one of the captains of the team, whether there's a C on his jersey or not? The quarterback's really the captain of the team. And is it just that simple? I don't know the answer, so that's why I'm asking.
No, I don't have any hesitation because I strongly believe that he was brought in for one reason and one reason only.
To lead and to win. To lead and to win.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Barring his health. He was brought in for one reason and and I know people can say, well, Buckner, blah, blah, blah. Look, here's the deal. That dude's got a full man beard. He looks like Leonidas. And if anybody has a problem with that, then you step up and show us that you're the captain. Don't cry, don't whine, don't bitch because a new guy got appointed captain. I would say he would earn it and has earned it based on his play. And I don't care if he's a Notre Dame guy or not. Yeah. I mean, do we want that? I don't care who he is. Be a captain, be a leader, show some energy, and let this team see that and put them on your back.
Yep. And you know what? And that's one of the issues I had last year when we struggled. The Cal game. I was there too, and whatever, we got through it, but it was pretty ugly. And then you had the two home losses to terrible teams. I was asking, where is the leadership on the team saying we're not doing this? Everybody needs to wake up. Like, we apparently didn't have that because nobody stopped that once the bleeding started.
Yeah. So that was one thing. The other thing is obviously my other question or concern going into the season and these practices is obviously, for me, it's not the offense, because I think the offense is going to be fine. There's going to be a fight for all these new kids to get on the field and produce. Yep. So we're not going to have so much of an issue there. To me, obviously, it's the front line of the defense and edge. I want to know who's Ohio State, who's USC, who's NC State. Who are they going to prepare for coming off the edge or coming up the middle? That's what I want to know. I think if we can shore that up, that's going to elevate our defense. It's going to make Mickey and Morrison in the back and the linebackers look even that much better, and the defense will elevate itself just by attrition from them being good up front.
Yeah,
that's my hope, is that there's somebody in there that steps up and is a force.
One thing that is coming out of camp early is how good the corners look. And they're saying it might be the best looking corners Notre Dame's had in a very, very long time. And I think that's encouraging just because Notre Dame fans always have anxiety about the back end. I'm still going to worry about safety, but it's good to hear that those corners looked like perhaps the most dominant group in practice overall. And so, that's encouraging. But I'm saying this, man, if the Notre Dame offense does not take a major jump forward, I would be shocked.
Right.
I just feel like you're going to be able to truly test a defense through the air and on the ground and be good at both and do both when you want it or need it. We are not used to that stress putting on the other team. It's gotta help. 818-443 are coming up next. It's gotta help. Like, I am just thinking it can't look the same. It's just going to be a better offense if Hartman's upright. I can't not think that.
Right. And that was number 3 for me, not only through these practices, but obviously through the remainder of the season, because it sets up nice with Wake Forest being the final game of the year. If he can stay 100% healthy, I think if he stays 100% healthy, I believe that not only are we going to be in the 3 big games, but I think we're going to win those 3 big games just because his talent that he has is going to make the offense so much better. There's not going to be so much indecision that we've seen with previous quarterbacks.
Yep.
He's going to be able to elude a rush quicker, a breakdown. He's just that much of a better quarterback than what we've seen
and that was
what we've had.
That was one of my big questions. Was I know that I feel that this offense should be much more advanced this year with Hartman, but I don't know a way to calculate it because we haven't seen it yet. So I'm like, I feel like we should be able to stress a defense in a way we're not used to, and that'll be great. But I have no way to calculate that impact until we get into the year and I see that we're scoring, 38 points a game or something in it, or like I don't know how to put a number on how much better everything should look because of it, but I believe that it's going to. I just don't know how to calculate it till we get into the games.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my final comment, because I know you got a busy show, you got other callers. Is this, John, looking at the schedule, people are asking, what are we going to look like going in? How's the season going to play out? So here's my thoughts. I know everybody's hanging their hat, obviously, on Ohio State, USC, and at the end of the year, Clemson.
Yep.
And I know there's some games in there that bring some fear in everybody, like the Duke game. They're calling these games track games, whatever. I'm going to go a different route, okay? And I'm going to stick with this thought here. And I know people are probably going to, nail me for this, but I think it's going to really tell the tale of how this season is going to play out, okay? And it's going to be the first 2 games. Obviously, Navy, okay? I want to see what we did the first time against them in Ireland. I want to see Stephon Tuitt picking up a ball and gashing him 50 yards or the other way for a fumble return.
Yep.
I want to see the score resemble that. I want to see the output resemble that. That's a good way to start the season off. And it would be the cherry on the sundae if the first play from scrimmage on offense is Hartman to Morrison for a 50-yard touchdown. I think all of us would love to see that. I think Notre Dame Nation would benefit greatly if that's what we saw the first play.
Wait,
of the game.
Hartman to who? Who do you want it to go to?
I'm sorry, Hartman. Did I say Morrison?
Yeah, I was confused. I'm like, oh man, we got a wide receiver that's that good too? Beautiful.
Yeah. Hartman to Tobias, first play of the game for 50 yards, and I think we'll all go nuts. And, we'll high five our dogs in the living room.
You know what a lot of people are saying? Okay. A lot of people are saying, we got to pile up some points against Navy. Waste no time. Yep. Put it out. Put it on film right away. Let the fan base calm down, knowing this is the real deal. We could score in bunches. And it's like, well, it's just Navy, John. Yeah, exactly. So score 50 points.
Yeah.
You're right. It is just Navy. So pile it on.
And that's where I'm going. And I'm going to go to the second game of the season against Tennessee State. Now, let me set this up for you real quick. I used to coach high school football a few years ago. I coached for 5 years here in Oklahoma. And in that, I got to take a lot of my kids on recruiting trips. I took them to Arkansas, North Texas. I took them to SMU. I took them to SEMO, Southeast Missouri. And that brings me to this Tennessee State game. Okay? And just so everybody can get a grasp of where I'm coming from on this. Last year, Tennessee State played Southeast Missouri. I've been on Southeast Missouri's campus. Southeast Missouri shut out Tennessee State. I think the score was 47-0. Tennessee State only got 17 first downs and only racked up 230 yards of offense. Folks, first off, I don't like the idea that we stepped down out of the top tier of D1 and scheduled an HBCU or somebody less inferior than D1 schools. It is what it is. Two things can happen. You can go whitewash this team 60-0, and people are going to laugh at you because you played this level of school. Or you can have an Appalachian State kick you in the groin, and you got to try to erase it for the next 10 years. So it's not a win-win. Now, with that said, I want it to be a total whitewash. I don't want Tennessee State to cross the 50-yard line. I don't want Tennessee State to score a point. I want Notre Dame to rack this score up. I want to see our second-string quarterback on the field early. I want to see some of these top-line guys off the field.
Yeah,
this should be a remove, no doubt, in what this team can do and should do.
Yeah, and you know what else is important with this is Notre Dame's they're going to lose a lot of experience going into the next year in 2024. They really do not have an option. You need to score a lot so that you can get those second guys in there and see what you have in the backup quarterbacks and do all that. And so, yeah, I think it's a big deal, and it's going to set the tone early. I agree with your points, my friend. I hope we see it. And it's coming around the corner. We're going to get the answers to these questions. Anything else on the way out?
No, that was it, John. It's always a pleasure. I love listening to your show. And let me say this, out of all the shows and all the formats that are out there, I know there's a couple that do a lot of breakdown of films. We all know who they are. We all love them. We all contribute to them as well. But as far as the form that you have, I think this is what a lot of us really, really enjoy. We love to see you blow a blood vessel every now and then. We love your passion. We love your insight. We love your thought-provoking nature that you have that fires us all up. It makes some of us upset, makes some of us happy. But that's what Irish football is about. That's what the love of Notre Dame is about. Not just football, but all the sports. I love all the sports.
Yeah.
And, I follow them with the passion. And I think you symbolize a lot of us out there with your passion, literally on your network. And we really enjoy it. And I love donating to you, and I love listening to you. I hope everybody feels the same way.
Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate the support. And thanks for the call, man. And safe travels when you're doing all that. And I want to know how Cog Hill goes for you, too. Be in touch, my friend.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks, John. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good one. What a nice guy. That was very, very nice. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, we need Notre Dame to get off to a good start. I need you to pile up a boatload of points against Navy, and I need you to stop the fullback dive. And then Tennessee State, you just can't let them mess around, man. You got to get down to business. $5 holler from Phil. It was wonderful having dinner with you Wednesday night at Rocco's. Beautiful. Hartman is the missing link that the offense is needed for years. Could you imagine us having effective passing and running game? No, I cannot. You know why? Because we haven't had one forever. Back when I had a full head of hair that was more red and not gray. So no, I can't even imagine what it's like having. When you say having an effective passing and running game, Phil, what I'm hearing is real offense. You could substitute out having an effective passing and running game and put in, could you imagine us having a real offense and just end the sentence there? No, I can't, because we've been functioning at a deficit forever. What we've been doing on offense isn't real life, you guys. Do you all realize that? It isn't real life the way Notre Dame's been running an offense. A real offense is balanced. It can do both. It can run the ball when it wants to / and or needs to. And it can throw the ball when it wants to / and or needs to. We have been handicapping ourselves due to poor recruiting and development on offense forever, and it just needs to end. We are so used to it now. I don't even think everybody realizes how far away from real life we've been living. And in a way, let me turn this on you. Maybe that should be encouraging. Look at how much Kelly was able to get accomplished doing it this way with the half-ass offense and no deep threat whatsoever and no trust the quarterback can make the right throws and reads and do all you need to do. We accomplished a lot handicapping ourselves. Imagine what's possible if you actually put a real big boy offense out there where the defensive coordinator's breaking down film and going, oh, crap. How are we going to stop this? If we move up, stop the run, we're going to get burned deep. And if we settle back a little bit, they're going to run it for 5 yards a clip on us. Notre Dame has not made defensive coordinators have that worry. It changes everything. We're so far behind sometimes, it's sickening. And it goes on for so long, people just get used to it. Oh, man. Somebody said John needs access to some Xanny bars. I don't need that in my life. That would just cause me problems. 443, and then I got a 219-818-443. What's going on?
Hello?
Hey, what's going on? You're on the air. Yeah, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Sorry. Chase calling in. Been a long time. Good to talk to you, John.
Yeah, good to talk to you too. It looks like late April, maybe after Blue and Gold or something. It's nice catching up with you. Thanks for calling. I'm getting a little worked up here, excited about football being back. What do you think are the realities or what's in your mind as camp opens and some news starts to come out? What are you thinking?
Well, I'm extremely excited about the season coming up because I think we have a chance, as you said, to have an offense. We've been talking since the fall and years past about Ian Book and how we couldn't complete the ball 15 yards on the field. And just watching the defense for the first time ever, instead of having 8 in the box and 9 in the box, if we can complete those passes, I mean, we're going to have a more open box, which is going to be amazing. And two, I'm excited because Navy's the first game, which gives us more time to prepare, which usually is a good thing. It's not thrown in the middle of the season and the rest of the way out. It's typical offense to play.
You know what? Let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I have little to no – I'm going to have no patience if we defend Navy poorly when it's the first game of the year. To me, you have no excuses when it's week 1. You have all of August to be able to figure out whatever you need to figure out to defend Navy. You have no excuse. It's different if it's in the middle of the season and you only have a few practices and then you're out there. You have all the time in the world to figure out your packages, your sub packages, roles for this guy. Whose job is it to watch that fullback dive? Like, I have no patience to not defend Navy this year the way we did the second half, particularly last year. That's got to get cleaned up on defense, and I need a boatload of points on offense.
Well, I have no patience for one other thing on defense is linebacker play. You have Marcus Freeman. You have Bullock from Alabama and Michigan State, which, God help us, we have a Michigan State on the staff. But we also have an NFL linebacker coach, and I can't stand if our linebackers once again have no instincts and look lost.
I'm telling you, so buddy, this is one of, I would say, the biggest divisions that I've seen in the Notre Dame fan base and media. I hear these guys that break down film and look at the numbers all the time say on their shows or in their writings, Notre Dame fans are severely undervaluing these linebackers and the ones you have. And they're like, JD Bertrand is going to have the most tackles of anybody on the team. And like, you should love them. And Marist is going to figure it out. And I hear and read that every day from these people that cover Notre Dame on the field and break it down. And then I talk to regular fans and they're like, every time I saw the linebackers, they were either out of place, not shedding a block. They were a half second late to react to what they need to. The blitzes weren't getting home, and they looked slow in space. So what's the reality? Who's right or wrong here?
Well, I have to say, I watch a lot of those too. They say there's talent. You can see the talent at times, but the problem is there's no consistency. I mean, look at the last play of the UFC.
J.D. Perjam just ran right in the middle, and you knew that the quarterback was going to keep it and win the Heisman with that one, unfortunately. It's just their instincts don't see it. Very rarely you see Maris Luafau flash, and then he disappears for 2.5 quarters.
Yep.
And you're like, where is he? Is he even out there? He's going to the left, the place to the right. I'm just telling you. I mean, I play college football. I'm not going to say I'm a football analyst, but there's a lot of times, I keep hearing how they say the linebackers got to know all positions. How about they just learn one to perfection? They're like, well, J.D. Perjam can play weak side, rover. He knows that. And that's great. But I need a kid that knows how to do one job and do it right. And that's what's always saying, when you get an NFL coach, sometimes I think he doesn't realize we're not in the NFL. This is not their only job. They're at a high-class institution,
Yeah.
They have other jobs to do. So there's that. I'm excited about the receivers in the offense and the potential of some diversity in the run game. Because last year was duo, no matter who was in there.
Yeah.
We have running backs with different skills.
Yep.
We should be using their assets and their skills differently. Hey, Estimate was great with duo. Now Logan Diggs is gone, which I'm not going to talk about because I believe in April I called and had an aneurysm. Like he didn't want to be here to begin. So I don't want to go over that. But Payne, the different skill than Estimate. Tyree, were we running duo with Tyree? Now he's on the outside.
Yep.
Okay, it didn't make sense. There was no diversity in the run game. But if we have a quarterback, only one time we hit Brandon Lazy on the post, and I celebrated with you against South Carolina. I'm like, oh, we finally hit the post. And what happened after that? They had to leave the box because they're like, oh, he actually can complete that pass. Yeah. Ohio State, go back and watch it. Snap, linebackers move up, and the safety would move up 2 steps and be right with the linebacker. There's 9 people. So the excitement level is there, and honestly, I kind of stopped listening because I was going nuts with you, and I was like, you're going to give me a heart attack in Maryland, and that's not good for me. And I just go.
I don't want to do that to you. Listen, man. I only want to be responsible for my own strokes and heart attacks. I don't want to jumpstart anybody else.
With all the Big Ten talk and all that was going on for months, I was going to jump through the screen. I'm like, you're going to give me a stroke, okay?
Oh, man.
What happened to all the money from the early 90s? Why are we behind on facilities? What does it matter if we don't spend the money on freaking football? So it doesn't matter to me. But I'm just saying, during that time, and I was about to have an aneurysm, but I'm excited football is back, and we can talk about football coming up. Navy's, I got the countdown. I'm watching the countdown on Twitter with you guys every day, and I'm so excited because it's just like it's about to be the time to put up. And I have a lot of things excited. Now, I also want to say I think the thing we're missing is we have a lot of top linebacker talent. Do you think Freeman's eventually going to move to the defense he was in Cincinnati, where he had more linebackers and we had 3 down linemen? You look at Ford. You look at our Rubio, the bigger guys we have signed that have potential to be big body frames. Do you think we're eventually moving to that more class and linebacker style?
Yeah.
That's what and you add up Sneed, you add up, Bowen, you add up the kids we're signing now.
Yeah, you got to add Ziegler in there. You got to have Osbury in there. And then you add KVA. Like, they're going to have a lot of talent to figure out how they want to structure this for sure.
I think they got to go to more of a slashing style with the athletes we can get. Because if we can't get defensive linemen, they look, and I'm not saying that like they can have linebacker talent. Now, developing has been a different step. It's been that way since the start of time. We get high-star recruits. You can go back to Aldridge days, high-star recruit. Never saw any progress.
Yep.
I want to start seeing the development and the growth, and rarely do we see this. Now, I was a big proponent to Hartman, but the reason I was like, I have to know if Tommy can develop a quarterback. Tommy's not here. Hartman's here. If he complete that ball 15 yards down the field, I mean, we're going to have a whole different thing to look at. We know we can run the ball. We've always been, even though I have 9 in the box, we can run the ball.
Yeah.
But if we can complete that yard 15 yards down the field, and it's not just a back shoulder fade or a go route or a post, and there's some diversity, I'm extremely excited.
Man, you know what I never got? I don't understand. Why doesn't Notre Dame throw a bunch of like crossing patterns over the middle of the field, catching a guy in stride with room to run after the catch? I see teams with way less talent than us running those plays, and the quarterback's able to find a guy in stride, not an out to the sideline where if he gets it, you get 6 yards and there's nothing else to gain, not a fade where if he catches it, you're out of bounds or whatever. Why didn't we just never seem to give our guys a chance to make a bunch of plays on the run after the catch. Like, we just haven't been doing that. I need to see that this year. Give me Greathouse streaking across the middle on a post, hit him in stride, and let the guy run.
Oh yeah, it's been that way. We've been in old college football days. I mean, I feel like we've been playing in the late 90s, early 2000s style football. I mean, pass occasionally, play action pass. But I'm saying if we can get these, and I'm excited about the receivers. And Stuckey, I think last year we were all like, well, the receivers don't look good. Well, he only had the fall camp. Now we got a full year of seasoning, the route running, the things. Yeah. I really think there's more exciting things to do. Now, the defense, I'm excited about. I like Jordan Botelho. He looks like he has some pass rush acumen with some spin moves and stuff like that. Foskey I like, which is nothing but the best, but he was kind of a one-trick pony, and I'm not dissing. He's one of the best sackers we've had, but he would be around the edge fast as could be, but there was no inside move. There was only outside moves, and I'm saying I like the talent we have. It's just now can they take that next step, and I'm truly excited about it. And Navy, like you said, we shouldn't have anything to worry about Navy. It's not mid-season, and we're throwing in a wrinkle at the end. It's at the beginning. And the last time it was at the beginning season was, I believe, 2012 when we went to the national championship with Manti Te'o and all them. It's just like, you should be on it from day one, and they shouldn't be able to stop anything you're doing.
Yep.
You know?
And yeah, that's the goal. And I don't know, man. It's just, I'm hoping the feel of this whole year is different. If you have a more representative, real modern offense, it just changes a lot. Every game has such a different feel. The big games we're going to play against good teams, we're going to be able to, it's almost like a new ball game, literally and figuratively, because you could go in there and actually feel like you maybe have a chance to run an offense that could stress these better teams for once. And I'm thrilled to see it, man. This needs to be a big year. It's a big transition year from year one to year two for Marcus, and to get things situated to enter into this new playoff era. I'm excited about it, man. Anything else you got on your mind?
Last thing to say is, just imagine, everyone, just imagine if the defense we go against has to cover the whole field for once. The first time we probably will see it in 12 years or
imagine what that
years.
Opens up. What is possible if that is the reality?
They couldn't stop the run when the box was loaded sometimes.
Yeah.
So if we open it up and it's gone, and another thing, congrats on your success, John. One reason I haven't talked to you, your phone line's always jamming. Congrats on your success, and be blessed, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot for the call. I appreciate it. Call again, man. And if you want, in the season, hop on the post-game shows right after the game. Call me and break it down, bro.
If I'm not dead, I will from a heart
Yeah,
attack.
me too. Me too. And if I'm dead, then don't worry about calling. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to have to control myself, man. I'm going to have to control myself because I get worked up right after those games, and there's going to be no time to cool down. This is going to be very interesting entertainment for sure. Have a good one, man.
Sure.
No, take your heart medication. Load up on your heart medication the next 3 weeks. All right.
Yeah, we'll do.
Have a good one. Thank you. Oh man, we got good callers here. And also, I forget if it was him or the guy before was saying, John, you do something a little different. You know, we know there's shows that do the X's and O's and break down like the formatting of all that. And here's what I like, you guys. I encourage the people that watch my show to branch out and watch other shows. Like, it's awesome. When you want X's and O's, go to one of those shows and get a breakdown of why these plays we ran worked or didn't work, and do that. And then when you want an outlet to yell or be happy or see like that side of it, come over here. Like, I want people to be able to have it all. But the one thing that I'm never going to do is fake like I'm an expert at something I know I'm not an expert on. I am not the best guy to sit here and break down X's and O's, and this guy missed this gap and we need to structure this different. That's not my expertise, so I don't act like it is, man. I do my thing, and it's kind of its own lane in this niche, in the Notre Dame content niche. Like, we kind of have our own lane because it's just a little different here. There's no show like this, and I like it that way, damn it. 219, you're on the line. 818 after that. What's going on? Are Are you in a tornado?
John, greetings.
What's up?
I'm right here where I'm supposed to be in St. Joe County.
There you go. What's going on? I just left St. Joe's County. What's
I
up?
had a couple things. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a tornado, though.
Not exactly. But what I wanted to talk about, I have 3 topics. I swapped one out after I heard your intro about being positive. I agree with being positive, but I'm also not going to be pumping rainbows, acting like it's all good after the season we had last year.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I'll give you that. I think that's fair.
I go back to Coach Holtz, Lou Holtz. When he was the coach here, how many times did we see him pumping up the team saying, hey, this is good, that's good? Never. You never heard him say that. He would take the opposite approach and say, hey, our running backs aren't looking very good. Our line's weak. Can't cover nobody. You would hear this every year.
Yeah.
And we kind of had that with Kelly at the beginning of his time. But I just don't see any passion and fire from Marcus Freeman.
Do you think?
I've seen it with Tommy. Tommy has a little bit of fire. The strength guy that quit, he was bringing fire, but I don't see that. I don't see that passion in Freeman. Which I don't understand why he don't have it as a former player.
Do you think that maybe he does, but it's controlled in a way that the media and the fans don't see it, but behind the scenes there's more of it?
No, I do not think that. Because you don't see it on game day. When things are going bad, you don't see Freeman fired up. You see him, in a daze almost. He's got an opportunity this year to change the way that it's going for him. If he goes, 8-4, or, wins 8 games, 9 games or something, he kind of still just lingering there, and we still really don't know what we've got.
Yeah. All right. Now, wait. Let me ask you this. Are you open to the idea that maybe year one, Freeman didn't feel like he was comfortable knowing what he wanted his demeanor and persona to be and how public to be with everything? Like I felt like he was figuring out how he wanted to present himself during the year. I don't know.
I think I can agree with that statement. First time being head man, getting comfortable with it, but that's not where the red flags I see with Freeman. Where the red flags is the in-game coaching. And when I called him before, I've mentioned this numerous times when I chat on the chat, and when I called him before. You don't go up to the opposing head coach of USC and tell him, hey, take it easy on me. I'm still learning. If he's worried about his public image, that's a fail right there. So, like I said, he's got an opportunity to change this. I hope he does. I don't believe he will.
What would it take to make you satisfied this year and feel like Notre Dame's trending up and you're more comfortable with where Freeman's at, where the program's going? Is it like 10-2 or better? Or like, where's that line that would make you feel like you're heading in the right direction?
If they can get 10 wins, then, I'll give him, another year. If it's 8-9 wins, again, it's not trending in the right direction. You're just stagnant at that point. But I don't think it's going to be 8-9 wins. I think it's going to be about 7 on the high, 5 on the low. 5 if Hartman gets hurt, 7 if Hartman stays healthy.
Well, I mean, if I think we have different discussions here. If Hartman's hurt, then that's a whole different discussion with its own category of nightmare. And we do have some people that agree with you in the chat, by the way, saying they agree. So I don't know, but 7-5 is a nightmare, man. 7-5 is like you're dead. 7-5.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see what happens.
Like, I mean, dude, that is like the lowest of the low estimates I've heard. Like 7-5 is a nightmare, especially if Hartman's healthy. 7-5 is like shut the program down, we're dead. No, I can't handle that.
I just believe that could happen very, very easily. Now, the second thing there's three things I wanted to mention. That was the first one. Let's be positive, but let's be realistic. We got a lot of improvement needed. Number two, I watched the video of yours the other day. You were talking about things you trust, 5 things you can trust, 5 things no you don't trust.
Yeah.
One of the things that I sense from that is that you don't trust Freeman no more than I do, and no more than a lot of people do. Some people think he's going to win a championship this year. That would be a miracle. That would be a hell of a coaching effort. He's probably leaving if that happens, but that's not going to happen. Am I right on that, though? Do you not trust Marcus Freeman?
It's funny, though. You're like, if things go great, he's going to be gone. And if things go bad, he's going to be gone. Are you just not a Marcus guy? Are you just out on Marcus?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't trust him I think he's I don't know about great, but he was a good, serviceable defensive coordinator. But as head coach, no, I am not a Marcus Freeman guy. I'm sold on that. The guy when he came in, he didn't bring his own offense. He didn't bring his own defense. I don't know what he specializes in coaching. I would assume it was linebackers, but we don't ever hear about him having hands-on with any position group. And then, like I said, the in-game stuff, the bad decisions to make, all adds up to not success. And we've seen that last year. Like I said, he's got another year, or he can try it again, see what happens.
So who did you want them to hire instead of him then? Did you want to hire Fickle, or like what was the plan when Kelly left town then that would have made you feel good?
Well, yeah, Fickle would have been good. There was another guy too. I didn't really know too much about him, but I think that when this Freeman tenure runs its course, I don't have a name, like I said, of who I want to be coached, but I definitely want them to have. They don't have to even have head coaching experience, but they got to have some type of link to the NFL. And I will be watching the NFL this year for coordinators of who I would like to be the next coach of Notre Dame. I want them to have ties to the NFL where they can go to a high school kid and say, hey, look, dude, I know this guy. I know these people. I know all these people in the NFL. You want to go to, and that's where the recruiting comes in.
You mean like Charlie Weiss? Didn't we already try that? Weiss tried that, and he couldn't end up recruiting defense. He threw that ring on the desk and thought that would be all you needed to make that connection, right?
Well, that is true. Weiss also took Brady Quinn and turned him into, a Heisman contender his junior and senior year when Quinn was just average at best before he got Weiss's coaching. You talk about the covered bear when Weiss took over from what Willingham had done. I mean, the recruiting had totally fallen off at that point.
Yeah.
And Weiss came in and got the program rejuvenated for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the wheels fell off. And, with that being said, once we know it's time to move on, then you got to cut ties, just like we did with Willingham, just like we did with Davey, Weiss, those guys.
All right, Freeman Freeman signed a 6-year deal. So what do you think? If year 2 doesn't go good, they're just done with them? I don't think that's a reality either.
Well, Notre Dame was paying Charlie White up until like 2020. White signed a huge deal, and they had to, turn him loose and still pay him. So, I don't want money. They got plenty of money. Freeman isn't even in the top 30 highest paid coaches, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So, to give him a couple $1 million, if it ain't working out, hey, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. And then what's your third thing? Do you have a third point? You said you had 3, or we at 2? What's the third?
My third thing is I want to present a challenge to you and to any listeners who have the knowledge and are technology savvy to actually create. Now that we're in the off season, we want to be positive. We want to get fired up. Football's here. It's right around the corner. Game time. We need a real hype video. Something, the last decent hype video that I've seen for Notre Dame was the country guy, the God's Country one, which they've taken off the internet for some reason. There was one a few years back, maybe 10 years ago. It had AC/DC on there, Thunderstruck. There's been a couple other ones where they chop up some stuff, and it's kind of cool.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you what the issue is. YouTube is cutting down on letting regular people do those kind of highlight videos. I used to do them too. But when YouTube's AI algorithm senses that you're using like a highlight video that you did not create because you did not record it, then they demonetize you, and then you get like in trouble with YouTube. So that's why you're not seeing as many highlight videos on YouTube by fans, because you're not able to monetize it and it messes your channel up. Jesus.
Well, because I see videos from other schools, and they're got hype videos, and they sound good. And
the school could do them. The school could do them. I mean, regular people like me. The school could do it because it's their material. But that's why regular YouTubers don't do them as much, because you're not able to monetize.
Well, I don't know why Notre Dame isn't, putting them out then if it's up to them.
Yep.
Because Ohio State puts out those clips, those short little, 2-3 minute videos, and hey, that's why they're champs.
Yep. Well, hey man, listen, you're breaking up. Sounds like you're in a tornado. I don't know if you're driving with the windows open or what. I'm sorry. But anything else on the way out?
Other than let's do a live view along when that LSU and Alabama faces off. That'll be a fun one.
The problem is that's the same time of night we play Clemson, so that's not going to be possible. I believe it's the same night, and they're both going to be night games, so we're not going to get that.
Oh,
yep,
man.
It's the exact same night, and it'll be a night game just like ours, so I don't think we're going to get it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I know, because I would like to give full attention to that game, but I'm not going to be able to if it overlaps with us and Clemson.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, man. Represent that 219.
Yeah, well, I'm actually 5'7", but I live right in South Bend area in St. Joe County. But yes,
Gotcha.
sir. Have a good one, John.
Thanks a lot, bud. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Man, you just never know what you're going to get. It wasn't even what he was saying as much as I just couldn't. The static, it sounded like he was in a tornado. We're just going to bring it down. We're going to bring it down. And it's like people are like, oh, John, what are you doing letting this guy go? Listen, when I have new callers, it's important on this show that we have a blend of regular callers and new ones. You don't blame me for trying to get new people in the mix. You just never know what you're going to get. but I make an effort to give new people a chance. So when they call in, they feel appreciated and noticed. But I think he was in an F5 somewhere. 818, good morning.
Man, that was either the world's largest whoopee cushion, or that was God taking a fart.
It was driving me nuts, and I was trying to adjust the volume.
What is that crap?
Oh, man, I'm working on my mixer. I'm trying to get it to get, somebody's saying, where is Pat Cotter? He's golfing. He's working. He's in San Diego golfing and working. That's where Pat is. Oh, and I got to say something to everybody, by the way. We are not going to have a Saturday night show tomorrow night. I am having an end of summer pool party over at the house with a lot of people coming. And I know that there ain't going to be able to be a show at 8 o'clock. Like, there will still be stuff going on. And so I need to do an end of the summer before John's off the radar every weekend because of football. Having a bunch of people over to swim and all that. So we're not going to go live tomorrow night. We'll all survive. But I need to do one thing normal with normal people before I go in football lockdown. Just thought I'd make that announcement. Do I still got you? Where'd you go? Did you get sucked into that twister too?
Yeah. You were saying that. I was just waiting for you to then start your point. So there's a few things that interesting things that were just brought up, and also some things that I wanted to react to on your trust issues the other day. Do you trust 10-2?
I mean, no, I don't trust it. It's the most likely, assuming decent health. I believe that is the most likely spot the team will fall, but that doesn't mean I trust it.
Right. Okay. Because I think if we're going off what we've seen so far, and that's all we can do, it's one season in. I think you got to look at the way that, again, man, the stuff that happened early on. I mean, if he's having those same problems at the end of the year, I would be a lot more concerned. The fact that it seemed to ascend after Stanford. Again, the USC game was the USC game. Brian Kelly had one of those every year, but Marcus Freeman kept that one close. Okay, that's what I'll give him there. So there's really a hope. That Gator Bowl game, man. I mean, was that the Gator Bowl? What the hell am I thinking of? The South Carolina game. What was that, John? What bowl was that? Was that the Gator Bowl?
I don't even remember. Just call it the one against South Carolina. Just call it the one against South Carolina.
Yeah, but to have 2 returns for a touchdown against us and us to pull that game out, I thought he coached a hell of a game that day, man. This is the rough, John, this is the year, honestly, especially how we play in November. We'll know what kind of a coach Freeman is at that point. I don't think there's any question. If he has, I could see the floor, the absolute floor, being like 6 or 7 wins. If just a tornado of bad things happen. And I'm talking like, major injuries to one or both tackles. Probably that's where it starts. If you lose those tackles, you're in trouble.
Well, or the quarterback, or maybe we don't even need to mention that.
Or the quarterback. I say either of those. Yeah. Those are that you got to have those tackles healthy, and you got to have the quarterback healthy. Obviously, I'm really encouraged by what I'm hearing from Angeli, though, just in terms of where we go from here going into next year. If Vinci develops the way we hope he does, Carr comes in as a freshman, if Angeli keeps developing the way he seems to, he could be in a pretty good spot now at the quarterback position, and a very good, sort of like year in, year out, feeling much better about that position. So, and again, with the way the receivers are going and the running backs are going, my God, John, I mean, it's crazy. It's weird when you think about this. You're taking away Tyree away from a running back position. And by doing that, you're actually adding more speed to the entire offense, because now he goes out to the slot. So that's a speed upgrade for the receivers. And then you bring in a Jeremiah Love or a Jadarian Price, assuming he's healthy, and now you have legit speed to counteract Estimate's, bullish behavior, if you will.
Yeah.
That's really exciting, man, to think about that. And like you were saying, I mean, Jared, Parker was the tight ends coach. You know he's going to feature a tight end in his offense, and I think it still needs to go through the tight end. So, and then when I look at the secondary, man, and hearing some things and how they played in practice, I think the entire secondary is going to be good because I think the corners are going to do their job enough, so much, that the safeties won't have to overcompensate, that the safeties can just be safeties. And so I think there's going to be an upgrade at that position. I keep hearing the linebackers are ready to make that jump. I certainly hope so. My concern is still on the line. I still have a concern on the defensive line. But, we'll have to see. But so overall, man, I think that this team's in good shape, that if they don't have a rash of injuries, they should be a 10-2-ish football team, if not better. They really should.
Yeah.
It's just things never go that way for Notre Dame. I just feel like for some reason, something else, could be, I don't know.
You know what? Let me ask you this. You know what? Like, you're right, though. Like, wherever we figure things are going to be like something when the season happens, these things just happen. But why does it always have to happen to us on the downswing? Why can't the surprise that happens this summer be that we're actually good, better than we thought, beat people we usually don't beat? Like, why are the surprises Notre Dame fans get once the season starts always on the negative?
And that's interesting because I was thinking that myself. I just don't feel like it's going to. For some reason, I think 10-2 is just too neat because that's what it should be. I feel like it's either going to be a game worse or a game better.
Right, like it's a trick. It makes too much sense to be the reality, right?
Yeah, because 10-2, I'd be just fine with that, man. I would be, especially with the bowl win, and now you're 11-2.
Yeah,
but I just feel like there's going to be another loss against, like I said, a stupid team that has no business being in the game with us. God forbid that's in the opening week of the season. Navy or something.
Yeah.
But
hey,
something
wait,
like that,
let me ask you this.
It's our tailgate.
Yeah.
Tailgate week.
Oh boy. I'm telling you, if Notre Dame loses to Central Michigan on my tailgate day, I will never be able to show my face on campus again. Everybody's going to go, "Oh, John, you play in this huge event, then we lose to Central Michigan. We never want you to do an event again." So I need Notre Dame to go ahead and win so that I don't have to deal with those issues. I wanted to bring up something to you, though, and I know you've probably thought about this, and it's what the last caller said between the tornado damage. What do you feel? And I've thought about this. That guy was a little hard for me to follow, and some of the stuff was a little extreme to where I think the realities fall. But that's fine. Like, this is a show of mixing of ideas. That's fine. What do you feel about Freeman's personality and demeanor? I admit, man, I felt he was struggling year one to figure out how he wanted to present, either on the sideline during games or this and that. Like, I felt him feeling out how he wanted to present. And I think he maybe struggled a little bit with that image and what he wanted that to look like. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, look at Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly had already coached for over 2 decades of football when he was hired in Notre Dame. Almost 3, I think, at that point. And even he struggled with how he wanted to portray himself. He came off a little too harsh at first couple years.
And then too laid back, and then he swung to be too laid. But it was.
And then he became too laid back.
3 personalities, Rodney.
Going from what I don't understand, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but where Freeman's making some very good moves early on that I think Brian Kelly didn't, is who he's putting around him as a staff. I expected a little bit more of Kelly, and there are certain areas where Kelly just didn't hire the right people, and then others where he did a really, really, really good job. Like, John, when he went from Diaco to Van Gorder, that I should say the name that cannot be mentioned, but from Diaco to Van Gorder, that was an odd change. I understand if you want to, tweak things a little bit, maybe get a little more aggressive, but you don't go from one extreme to the opposite when you've been recruiting for that type of defense all along. And that's why it made a lot of sense when he came back to Mike Elko and then the Clark Lee, who I think was even better than Elko. And develop kind of, think about if they had gone from Diaco to Elko, and then Elko to Lee. That would have been just a consistent And who knows how they drop off at that point. Freeman seems to be doing a good job so far. Again, it's only second year of finding. He seems to be putting good people around him. Again, we're going to see how, hiring a good quarterbacks coach, good reputation, good offensive line coach to replace C-Stan. I really think that those were two really good hires. Jared Parker, I think, is going to be good. I mean, we don't know that much yet, but I just feel like there's something about him, man. I just feel like he's putting good people that don't have, like, egos that are too high, too big on themselves, it feels like, where he can be the guy. Also, I disagree with the thing about his personality entirely, man. John, you've seen it. I've seen it. It works both ways. It works. Look at Tom Osborne. You talk about a guy that had no personality. I mean, the closest thing to that was Willingham, I would say. Willingham tanked, and Osborne obviously, it took him a few years to win that national title, but they were always good. They would just be like Brian Kelly, that they play a good team and they get beat really bad until Osborne figured it out and he was doing the bullying, So that personality can work no matter, it just be yourself. And to me, Freeman, as you said last year, was trying to find his voice. That opening press conference, man, I'm like, that's the Marcus Freeman I think we're going to be seeing more of. There's a little more fire. He's going to have a little more confidence. So you'll probably see a little bit more, clapbacks at media here and there. But he's going to be classy. And that's what I want, Yeah. I mean, that's what I want. I mean, there's, Era. Look at Era Parseghian, man. Era Parseghian in he had his own style, too. And it was much more like Marcus Freeman from what I've seen in highlights and videos, and even in, because now I was still old enough to remember when I was a kid, he would be in the studio a lot of times in those, I don't know, the CBS or ABC or whatever it was, but just talking to him, he had more of that positive attitude that I'm sure behind the scenes he was a grinder, no question, like Leahy, like Rockney, So I'm not worried about that. I think Marcus Freeman came into his own as the year went on. And I think that's his strength, John. I think his strength is his personality.
Yeah.
So that's why I disagreed with the caller before, but we'll see. If in November they're tanking, he might be right. So that's why I say it's this year. We're going to know what kind of coach Marcus Freeman is when we get to November.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I just do admit, I felt like I saw Freeman struggling to find himself a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, man. There's a slight delay in here talking. And also the entire staff, like the people he's put around him. Like, we'll know by November if that mix is working. I think it will. And go ahead, man. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I genuinely felt like I could see Freeman trying to figure out on the fly exactly the right way to present himself and how to act, and even like how to be on the sidelines, like all that year one stuff. I felt like I saw him sorting through that. And I really kind of hope year two it levels out and he finds a level that he's comfortable operating at and presenting. And we'll go from there. If you could get off to a good start this year, it would level a lot of the rough seas and discussions going on. And this needs to get off on a good start and see where we go from there.
Well, they should be 2-0, no doubt. I mean, right off the bat, you beat Navy, beat East Tennessee State.
Yeah.
Right after that, you got NC State, and that's going to be the first test. And then you go into North, and then you go into Central Michigan. And, we'll all kind of know. We'll know by then, man, what we're looking at. And then, of course, we can all just gear up for the Ohio State game. So, on that note, man, I'll let you go. But no, I got a good feeling about Marcus as his head coach personality. I'm all behind.
Yeah.
We'll just see how it manifests this year, man.
Well, we're gonna get all summer and off season. We've had nothing but questions. We're finally close to getting some answers, and that's gonna mean a lot of people are right about things and a lot of people are wrong about things. And we're just gonna have to see how it goes. That's why they play the games, my friend. Hey, thank you for the call. Hope you have a good weekend. Only a few more and football's back, baby. Enjoy it.
Oh, man. Yep, that tailgate will be right around the corner. So I'll be seeing you soon.
Fantastic. Have a good one, man. Thanks for the call. Listen, man, I like having different opinions in here. It's just, that's what makes the world go around, And D Norm, Freeman has plenty of passion. John's right. Jesus. The guy was sorting through things, especially the first few games. We will get a much truer reflection of who he is as head coach as he hits his stride here in year 2. Yeah, I'm open to see things just balance out a little bit on the field and the way that he presents himself. Year 2, he should be more comfortable. He should have a better a level of what he wants to present in the media room to us and with the players and navigating all that. That's a process, and one that a first-year coach has to go through. Brian freaking Kelly has 40 years, and he had 3 different personalities at Notre Dame. That guy's got 40 years of experience, and he couldn't figure out who he wanted to be at Notre Dame. Purple face, BK homeboy, and then the CEO who never acted like he knew what was, just stood there, and it didn't matter what happened. He didn't really react. That damn guy had 40 years of experience and couldn't figure out his personality at Notre Dame. I'm going to give Marcus 1 year to figure out his comfort zone, all right? Andrew Gilmore. I support Freeman, but I'm not forgetting about Marshall and Stanford. That's fair. I mean, what do you want me to do? Tell you they didn't happen or it's not a big deal? They did happen and they were a big deal. And guess what? It can't happen again this year. When you look at this schedule and the marquee 3 and then all the landmines dropped around them, you simply cannot afford to lose any of these games that you need to win. You just can't. It has to get cleaned up. It has to get cleaned up. And again, the other part of that is you could yell at Freeman for that all you want, and I do. I will. Unacceptable. I will. Where was the player leadership too, though? You do not lose those games to Marshall and Stanford and tell me you had good leadership in the locker room. Where were the guys going, hello, everybody wake up. We're embarrassing ourselves at home. This isn't okay. Where was that leadership? Nobody made any plays. Nobody made any plays, bro. Nobody. Look at this. Stylite, you're a piece of work. Man, that beard isn't even gray anymore. It's turning white. I'm telling you, man. Notre Dame stress will do it to you. Notre Dame stress will do it to you. It's getting to me. My airline's holding in pretty decent. Once Kelly left, the airline started holding a little bit. The recession isn't quite at the, it's still happening, but it isn't at the pace it was under Kelly. All right. So the recession is holding. It's just the beard's turning white. It's gray to white. Football stress, man. Football stress. It is what it is. Oh, man. Yeah, look at this. Bama Charlie here. He says, yep, John, Brian Kelly's already working on his first personality at LSU, a dancer. Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind on the best recruits. Dude, this guy is a piece of work. Brian Kelly's a piece of work, man. I don't know. And also, I think I told you guys this. I would like to do a live streaming watch party for Florida State LSU. Labor Day, Sunday, the Labor Day. There's nothing else on. I don't think there's any other games. And it's just going to be that game at night, the first week of LSU at Florida State. I think we should do a live watch party. I'll have the TV on, off camera and whatever, because you're not allowed to show the game for right violations or whatever. But we could react to it together and see what's going on. Maybe have a couple pops and we could do the chat. People could call. We could talk about Notre Dame during that game. Whatever, man. I'm just thinking of things to do. Yeah, Andrew says if Kelly wins the West again, though, he might. It's possible. He's got a quarterback with so much experience and athleticism, even Kelly can't ruin him. That won't happen until he has to develop his own young quarterback. That's when the Brian Kelly-ness starts to wear off. He's lucky now. He's got that big athletic kid who Kelly can't even ruin him. He's got too much experience. That's where we'll start seeing things fall apart. All right, folks, that's going to be it. I got some things to do. Going to a concert, doing some things tonight. Got to get some yard work done. We just got a lot going on. So I'm going to get going here. I'll post stuff the next couple days, but there isn't going to be a live show tomorrow night. End of the summer pool party, man. I got to do something with some people before everybody knows I'm unavailable every weekend for the next like 6 months. So kind of got to get it in now. Don't judge me for it. Let me have a pool party here, and then we'll be back and we'll be ready to go. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words of the reporting from campus, and looking at these videos, commenting, donating, chatting, all that, calls. Even the tornado guy, I appreciate it. It was beautiful, man. Good to be back with you guys. Be with you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.